What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more punk rock, and we're back with some more Propagandhi. For those of you who don't know, I've said it like a dozen times on my channel already, but they're probably always going to be my favorite band. They were the first band I sort of discovered on my own in the world of punk rock that just, really took my thinking and desire to hear like hard and fast music to a higher level. I had heard a little bit of punk rock before them. I'd probably heard Offspring before them and maybe some Green Day and whatever. But when I heard Propagandhi up at a hockey camp in Canada, it was literally a life-changing event. Came back, really just like did a deep dive on the album and everything they were saying in it, and then started to get into other punk rock bands and started to read literature like that was included in the sort of suggested reading parts of some of these liner notes like Propagandhi did, especially with their second album, Less Talk More Rock. But yeah, so basically discovering Propagandhi was a life-changing experience for me and continues to fuel my interest in independent and philosophically and politically thoughtful music, whether that be punk rock or hip hop or techno and so on. So they will always be one of the most important things in my music life, no matter what else I get into and however long I stay on this planet. Nevertheless, we're going to listen to a tune from their first album, which I don't think I've actually done yet, which seems like a grave oversight because, again, this was the album that changed everything for me. So shout out to the album once again. 1993. Oh, I guess the disc. Yeah, it's over here. I guess I didn't take it out of the thing. But what I was going to say is, first several albums, they were on Fat Records. Eventually that relationship dissolved. I'm not going to rehash that. I think I talked about it in one or two other videos. I will always love these records, even if, eventually they moved on to other pastures in terms of people producing and distributing their music. We're going to listen to a tune that, for me, when I first heard this album, was the one that just really set my brain on fire, both musically and lyrically. And that is Head, Chest, or Foot, all with question marks. And the song is essentially about the way in which common people are trampled on by elite rulers and ultimately governments themselves, and it's the way that many people essentially grow comfortable within those metaphorical prison walls, and they ultimately, they go to dance clubs and they sort of have a good night out, and they, go to bed at night and they go to work and they read like celebrity stories in their magazines, and that's it. And they're not really concerned or, don't even know that there's perhaps other issues and other concerns that are more like pressing and more human in what they seem to achieve. Again, the song is chastising leaders who, build their thrones on the graves and, skeletons of, thousands of others, but also the, hundreds of thousands of others and the millions of others who sort of go along with that and don't really, seem bothered by the fact that there's so much oppression and marginalization and exploitation and violence and brutality. It's a double criticism. It's a criticism up the line toward the people sitting in the thrones who clutch their power tightly and try to amass more and more influence and wealth and so on. But it's also a criticism out to the masses as well. It's like, hey, if you're just kind of passively going along with this, you're complicit on that moving train. You really you don't want to go to nightclubs that they subsidize and so on. It's a line from the song. So it's a criticism both up and down in terms of the critique and what it's aimed at. It's a great song musically. It really has a sort of energetic feel, and as with all the songs on How to Clean Everything, I think Chris's guitar work really stands out. It just, when I heard this, it was unlike other guitar work I had heard, even in other punk rock. As I said, I'd heard a little bit of punk rock at that point. I think the music, the energy of the song stands out, the lyrics of the song stand out, as well as Chris's guitar work stands out. So here we go. This is Head, Chest, or Foot, all with question marks, on How to Clean Everything, Propagandhi's first album from 1993 on Fat Records. Whoa. Three choices. My bad. One trigger. Guess who gets the bullet? One leader. 1,000 slaves. For every throne there's 1,000 graves. More, surely. You're all the
just part of the machine, perpetuate their dream. They subsidize your nightclubs and they subsidize your malls. They herd and brand the masses within painted prison walls. Take your freedom of assembly because the missiles they create.
That line hit me even as like a young teenager. You know, until your freedom of assembly, your constitutionally guaranteed right to gather and protest things becomes warped into like, yeah, you have the right to construct missiles that we're going to shoot at people. That's it. That's your right to assembly. But I'm guessing Chris might not be the same.
But I'm not the same. I'm not part of your fucking machine. I'll jeopardize your dream.
I love that.
I'd rather be in prison than a George Orwellian world than a pacifying society of happy boys and girls. I'd rather know my enemies and let you know the same. Whose wing will smash and whose tires will slash. Like the fucking plane.
Again, the guitar work, man.
Two choices. Oppose them or let them destroy us.
It does remind me of the end of another song of theirs on their Less Talk More Rock album, which I'm trying to remember if it's I was a preteen McCarthyist or is it and we thought nation states were a bad idea, but it's that like when you jump ship you can either swim for shore or drown. It's, you know, a lot of their songs paint this choice that look, you can go along with this or you can step outside of it and try to resist it or try to create something new that runs in a different direction. But, you know, those are your choices. Either go along with this and be part of it or stop and get off the train. So yeah, it's interesting to hear that idea and that sort of suggestion appear in a couple different iterations in their lyrics over the years. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this album. I mentioned in another video, I've heard Chris talk about this album. They're like, hey, look, I respect the album. We're never going to make another album that sounds like that. And I totally get that. I totally respect that. But yeah, it will always remain very nostalgic and very excellent to my mind, even if it is a sound and a sort of style that they've moved beyond. But yeah, let me know what you think. And again, if there's any other songs from this album or any of the other Propagandhi albums that you'd like to hear reacted to, please do let me know. Cheers to all the people watching and listening. I really do appreciate you. Have a good day, have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Peace.